It's beautiful to be able to go live and also to be able to have music with your live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know who this is. This is CL King coming to you live from the High Definition Studios here in Impactville. I ain't even tell you what region of the world we in. We just in Impactville. You know what I'm saying? I am so blessed, ladies and gentlemen, to have someone that I personally requested back on this show. Now, it's one thing to have people on and they do a good job, but it's another thing to have someone on and they make an impact. And I said, you know what? I told my staff, I said, we got to do whatever we can. We got to do whatever is possible to get Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins back. She is the founder of the She Builds a Vineyard organization. She is leading this mentoring program, which was inspired by her autobiography, She Builds a Vineyard, a single parent's transformational journey. And it is an exemplification of a struggle of a single parent who came to a point where she had to make a stable decision in her life. Listen, with the help of God on her side, she took the world by storm. It is a book of hope, of faith, transformation, and diligence. It is a book for all women, noted by several readers. She is an inspirational speaker, consultant, certified life coach, author, TV host, and best-selling author. Her role as a participant in transforming lives began as a trailblazer for a single parent and for single parent families. She began lecturing to leaders who were interested in leading their families. Also, she is the founder and president of Spring Inc., a national single parenting ministry. Spring offers mentoring, coaching, and counseling for individuals and families. Here's what I want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen. Planting a vineyard is not easy. People plant so many different things. They plant vegetables, they plant flowers in an attempt to see if anything will grow. But our guest tonight, Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins, has planted a vineyard. Would you please welcome with me Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins to Impact Life 24/7. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you again for allowing me to come.
We are so thankful that you are on our show again, Dr. Willie Mae. I can't believe that you decided to take another risk on us and come on the show.
You are a great company.
Really?
Yes. And I really enjoy your podcast, your show. I really do. So you're very respectful and you really think about the gifts that others have to really make a difference in the world. So yes, I applaud you on what you're doing and have done.
You know what, Doctor? One thing, we're in a totally different studio than the last time you were here. We've made some upgrades, Doctor.
Wow.
And one of the things that I have recognized is this, is that if I invest in others, right, God will invest in me.
Amen.
I don't need everybody else to invest in me, but if I invest in others, I feel like God will invest in me. So here we are back on Impact Life 24/7. We are 5 minutes late, so you get 5 minutes extra. How about that, Doctor?
Great.
Great. I tagged your friend and my colleague, the wonderful, he's a doctor himself, Dr. Danny Brunson, our mutual friend. Doctor, let me just tell you before we get started. I launched my book this past week, and in the 2 days before the launch, we had a major technical issue. We could not get the book sold overseas. Couldn't figure it out on the website. Tried all these different, and I said, Danny, you need to fix it, because he's my tech guy, right? And I turned him loose, and guess what? Dr. Danny got it done, baby. So I love Danny Brunson, and
He's
he's
so
the one who,
gifted.
he's very gifted. He's the one who brought us two together. So you're just part of the family here. Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins, tell everybody how they can find you and how they can reach you.
I can be found at drwilliemaehawkins.com and also at shebuildsavineyard.com. She builds with an S.
She builds with an S. She builds a vineyard.com. And I've watched your videos many times, and so I'm very familiar with your mission of building a vineyard. But before we get into that, I would love for you to be able to tell our audience who may not know you a little bit about yourself.
Well, that's a combination of a lot of things.
Yeah.
I am the founder of She Builds a Vineyard, but my work started with working with the single parent family. Through my book, She Builds a Vineyard, a single parent transformational journey. That took 8 years to write because it started as a journal. And so, coaching and mentoring women and now with teenage girls.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of that. And now that has, happened for a while now. And with She Builds a Vineyard, the mentoring program for women and teenage girls, we do a lot of therapeutic services with coaching and counseling, and then also self-care strategies with the rest meditation, diet, exercise. And so I'm focused on those things, but then I'm also a pastor and teacher at centeroffaith.org.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you got to be your best. You got to be on your best behavior tonight because we got the pastor in the house, ladies and gentlemen. We're so blessed to have my friend and colleague and someone who has really made an impact on this show, Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins. And you can find her at drwilliemaehawkins.com or shebuildsavineyard.com. So let's talk about you and I were joking about this off camera, but I want to talk about this very seriously.
Okay.
Because you highlight some of the challenges of being a single parent. And you were a single parent for quite some time, weren't you?
All of his life.
That's what I'm saying.
All of his life. My son is now 32 years old. He has a son of his own who's 3 months now. But yeah, all of his life, that's how I've been. Never married. So yeah, but the blessing was having a great support group who's been there, who supported me along the way. And that is the key between prayer and having a support group and knowing that God was on our side. There were major things, hurdles, but God helped us, to get over those things. So.
Again, Dr. Willie, you are so positive. It's almost like when you speak, positivity just comes into the room. But I want to ask you maybe a more challenging question for those mothers out there and fathers who are saying, yeah, I understand that God can do all things, and we understand that, but sometimes in the midst of our going through it, we're like, God, where are you at, right? Sometimes we're like that.
Very much so.
What were some of the struggles that you faced raising a child as a single mom?
Well, one of the financial struggle was one of them. And I always was conscious of working on a budget, right? Living on the budget.
Yeah.
And so I didn't spend every dime I got. I basically just saved all the time because I knew rainy days were going to come.
Right.
I'm going to need tires on the car one day. Right. I'm going to need some insurance on the car, renewal of insurance on the car,
Yeah.
Constantly food. My son's going to grow into a new pair of shoes one day. And so it's all of these things that were ongoing. So I didn't spend my money on, material things. I just spent my money on what was necessary.
So financial discipline and management was essential and
Very
important for
much.
you. Yeah, and I love that you said. I love that you started with that because we're living in an age. Y'all
Mhm.
forgive me. I'm about to pastor for a minute myself. We're living in an age where it's like, okay, instant gratification is the name of the game, right, doctor?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
if you see it, get it. If you want it, buy it. It don't
Yep.
matter what's coming behind you. But you took a now who influenced you to live like that?
Really, it was basically common sense, you
Really?
know, common sense. Yeah. And I was always like budget conscious of what I needed. Even when I was in college, when you in college, you I don't know about anyone else, but it's not like your college refund was everything and a whole lot, right?
Right, right,
And
right, right.
so, in my family, we were not rich people. We come from a country town, where the living cost of living was very little. And so, just being mindful of where I came from and knowing that, again, rainy days do come. So,
Yeah.
my mom kind of installed that into me, um, in regarding to, we don't have much, but we can make plenty out of the little that we do have based on what we need. And you know what else?
Yeah.
What has blessed me was knowing that God said that He will supply our every need,
Oh,
not
yes.
our every want. And so I stay
Ooh.
focused. You want me to say that again?
Go ahead, somebody for the folks in the back. Go ahead and say it again.
God said that He will supply our every need and
Right.
not our every want. So getting a pair of Jordan sneakers is not a need. It is a want. You understand?
Yes.
And so that's how I raised my son. Even though sometimes he wanted what his friends in school wanted, I had to explain to him. I said, son, first of all, they have a two-house income
Right.
and we only have one.
Right.
And then I had to keep repeating the scripture. Look, the Lord said He will supply our every need, not our every want. So
Right.
you have sneakers, you have comfortable sneakers that is supportive to your feet.
Yeah.
I said, so you're good.
You
So
good.
he grew up with that. So yeah.
Wow, that's powerful, man. And you know what? What I fear, I'll just
Mhm.
be honest with you. I'm just being transparent since you're the doctor here. Um, is that I fear that if we're not careful,
Mhm.
we can lose some of those tenets or principles that guided you through difficult times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, I'm an observer of people. An observer of cultures and processes, and I
Mhm.
just sit back and I'm just like, wow, man, we are shifting, and everybody gives the green flag to, well, it's cultural, it's technology, you know what I'm saying? But I see when we peel back the onion, I see mothers absolutely struggling because they feel this notion that if I'm a single mom, but it's Christmas time and I need to spend all of my money on this child for Christmas.
That's sad. I mean, I don't want to say it that way, but that is kind of sad. And I say it because again, our children are not going to remember all these stories.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, that they are not going to really play with these toys all year,
Right,
you
right,
know.
right, right.
And so, but within my household, I had a rule, right? You get one big gift and one small gift. That was
Yeah,
it.
that was it.
That was it. And I focused on his needs. But mind you, my son had a huge God family. With
Really?
my family, yes, my family and his God family, he always got a whole lot. But he knew the rules in our household
Yeah.
that this is what mama does so that mama can have money down the road.
Man, you know what, Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins, I am so thankful that you stood your ground relative to, hey, listen, I got to instill some principles
Absolutely.
into my son. Let me ask you this, doctor, because oftentimes I hear this discussion over the airwaves that on Mother's Day, we say Happy Mother's Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on Father's Day, for those fathers that are absent, we hear mothers sometimes saying, well, I was a mother and a father. Let me get your perspective on that relative to how did you inject men into his life that were fatherly mentors, or how did you cover that piece?
My prayer for my son first was, Lord, to send saints our way. When I was first born again, I said, Lord, send saints my way who would love me unconditionally and help me grow.
Mm-hmm.
And so when my son came along, that also was my same prayer. Lord, send saints our way and to help us grow.
You're
And
right.
so with that in mind, with my son's God family,
Yes.
he had a lot of positive male role models in his life. And basically, it started with there. My brother was a great role model in his life. Um, and so, as a matter of fact, I named my son after my youngest brother.
Are you serious?
I did. I said that I was going to name my son Willie, boy or girl.
Right.
And so I named him Willie after me. But then, too, my youngest brother name is Willie as well. So another story.
Is there a whole bunch of Willies in the family?
It's basically it's two Willies and two Joes. My youngest brother and I will name after our mom, who was Wilma Hawkins, and then my dad, who was Joe Hawkins. So the two oldest are Joanne and Joe Cleveland. So they are Joe Hawkins as well. So we have Willies and Joes in our family.
Well, you know here's what I want you to know, that I think the name Willie is very, very powerful. So when I was preparing for tonight, I said, listen, I oftentimes when people come on the show, I mess up their names. But I said, thank you, Lord, for sending Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins, because it's such an easy name to remember. Thank you, Lord. And so, Doctor,
Absolutely.
listen, I want you to understand that this is not just a one-time thing or a second-time thing to come on Impact Life 24/7. I really do feel like your gift is needed in our environment and in our culture. What I want to ask you next is, how did you tap into what your mission is now? Because you're a best-selling author. You've got multiple organizations that have come from your loins. What started this?
When I was called into ministry, actually, and and I'm like, I had that personal thing with God. Okay, what do you want me to do?
Right.
And so I stayed in that, although I graduated with a doctorate, well, with my master's of divinity from Virginia Union University. Let me put that out there. Samuel D. Weck School of Theology.
Right.
So even though I went there, and even when I graduated, I still served as a chaplain at a local hospital. I was still, okay, what is it? What is my specific, I can get it out, specific assignment that you wanted me to do? Because, it's just like that unanswered question. Yeah. So one day when I was writing, and the Lord just said, hey, I want you to work with a single parent family. I went, what? What? Never thought to do that. And I said, I pondered on it. I said, I went through the pain. I've been through the struggle. And I went, okay, I can do that. And so that's how that started. And I've been working with the single parent family for a while now. And be mindful. I talked about having therapy in your life. So helping those single parents to understand you need therapy. because of our personality type. You know, our children is not us, and we're not them, and they don't understand our purposes sometimes, and it help us to understand our heart, help us to understand where we are in our journey, and so it really do bring you closer together. And so basically, all of my struggle, my pains, my learning lessons in life, all of that came into that ministry, was spring a national single parenting ministry. And so we work with churches who desire to want to work with the single parent family, because God is there for us too. God loves us too. So although we are ignored a lot in churches,
you're right. Hey,
God still loves us.
Boy, she speaking my kind of language right there, because it is true that as church we cater to the traditional family, right? It's just something that we do. And I talk about this a lot, that the church has really struggled with dealing with the core issues that really affect people. And when you think about it, I come home and, or let's say I've been home all day. And I've been playing with the kids, the toddlers, right? Because as you know, I have 7 children.
Wow. Okay.
They all grown. They all grown, y'all. They all grown. I ain't got to pay. I ain't got to pay nothing for them youngins no more. Yeah, right. But anyway, if I'm home and I'm with my 7 children, and then my wife comes home after her day's work, I'm like, listen, I'm done with these kids. Let me hand them off to you, right? But a single parent doesn't get to do that, do they?
No, they don't. And so that is what brought me to my doctorate in ministry.
Really?
Because the single parent household, that family structure has the highest stress level within their families.
The single parent family?
Single parent family
has the highest stress level?
The highest stress level.
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, listen, let me go ahead and give your, before you go on, let me give your information out. I got to take my glasses off so I can see. This is Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins. You can find her at shebuildsavineyard.com, or what's your second website?
She builds a Dr. WillieMaeHawkins.com, and she builds
right, Dr. WillieMaeHawkins.com, and shebuildsavineyard.com. I want everybody that knows a single parent to just stop what you're doing right now and share this with them. If you're watching this live, if you're listening to our podcast later, because as you know, Doctor, our podcast is downloaded in 47 states and 30 different countries, carried on 31 different platforms. So what the people do behind the scenes is what I really care about. I want you to share this with someone, because listen, man, we take it for granted. Us married folks that got 2 people in the house, we take it for granted. And Dr. Willie Mae did this for the entirety of her child's life. Went through the labyrinth of changes with a child by herself. So who builds a vineyard, or shebuildsavineyard.com? Tell us about that, and what was the motivation and inspiration behind that your movement there?
Basically my doctoral work.
Okay.
I wanted to help the single parent family. And so, because, the Lord led me to do this. And so I wanted research based on the single parent family. And so, as we are told, we let the data drive us to where we needed to go.
Right. Let the data work.
So,
let the data work. You're right.
Yeah, right. And so with that, that's what the data led me to stressors among the single parent family. And so I was like, wow. And so my work built on that. How do you reduce the emotional and behavior stress among the African-American single parents, women, who are the most stressful, okay?
Yeah, right.
And so with that my doctoral work, I started working with women with this research and pulling together the a retreat for them to come to gather data so they can
Yeah.
talk about it and see what's going on in their lives. And so, yeah, a lot came out of that when she builds the vineyard. And so, um, yeah, so
So,
that drove me to where I am doing today.
and we have on Impacting Life 24/7, my friend, my guest, the world renowned, the exclusive, the incomparable Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins. And you can find her at drwilliemayhawkins.com. And one of the things that I'm interested in is you wrote a best-selling book. And
Mhm.
what's the title of that book?
It's, let me show it.
Oh,
Okay.
let's see. Let's see it.
Can you see it?
I see it. Look at that. Look at that. Go
Yeah, she
ahead.
builds a vineyard. 7 steps toward a greater purpose. Um, this book came out of my, again, working with as a hospital chaplain, mental health, as a mental health therapist. And so this is a very powerful book that relates to where a person may be in their journey. And so with these 7 steps, they're not really steps, they're really processes. And so I have used this as I was working with, I was working as a national consultant, national women consultant for the United Church of Christ denomination, which I am a member of. And
Yeah.
so I served over 20,000 women using this basic ingredients or 7 processes to help the women where they are in their journey so they can move forward, whatever goals there are, helping them to understand where they are in their journey and how they can move forward, and to be mindful of where they may go through in the process of trying to get our ideal mission going in their own lives. And so, yeah, building a vineyard, because that's what it's really all about. Everyone has this calling, but where do you go? Why is it taking so long? And,
Right.
what are these problems and why am I having these problems? And so these 7 processes help them to reflect on just where they are and where God needs them to be and to understand at that moment so they can move forward.
So look, if you want to tap into these processes, because as some of you may know, I love continual process improvement. Just go to shebuildsavineyard.com, or you can find her at drwilliemayhawkins.com. Is it on Amazon as well?
It is on Amazon.
Okay.
Yes.
See, but how do I get an autographed copy? That's what I want to know.
I can send you one. No problem at all.
And look, and I'll buy
I'll
it.
be glad
Listen,
to send it to
listen,
my
I'll buy it because let me tell you, I have no problems buying it because I'm a self-publisher, and people be like, "Yo, hook me up." I'm like, they didn't give it to me for free, cuz.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
But
yeah,
I would love to send you a copy. No
I want a
problem at all.
copy. I'll buy a copy, and I want to support this effort and ministry that you have. You're, you don't. I don't know. I shouldn't use such absolutes, but it's refreshing to deal with someone that has such a heart and passion for people. And on Impacting Life 24/7, that's what this whole mission is. Doctor, is that there are people out there and we bypass them. You said it best. We go after the important and we forsake the essential,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
We go and have our potlucks and our dinners, but we don't invite, hello,
Yep.
I'm
That's
talking,
right.
right?
Yeah. Yes.
And so what you've done, doctor, is you've tapped into something that's a reality check for us all. And if you would like to get your copy of this, just go to shebuildsavineyard.com or drwilliemayhawkins.com. So let me ask you this. I didn't ask you this last time. So
Mhm.
you got to answer it this time. What do you got next? What's on your plate? What's on the horizon for Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins? What you got going on?
My next book. My next book is about self-care,
Okay.
rest, meditation, diet, and exercise, a
Okay.
biblical and theological understanding.
Ooh, biblical and theological. So, look,
Understanding.
man, I can't let her go, y'all. I'm gonna have to take another 5. Can y'all give me another 5, my sponsors out there? So give us a snippet of the theological piece of that cadre that you got.
A part of my doctoral work is to research in those areas and why it is important for self-care with rest, meditation, diet, and exercise. And
Uh-huh.
so there's a biblical and theological piece that explains and go more in depth into all 4 of them.
Okay.
Um, but I love talking about the exercise and piece because I'm always trying to get people to get up and move, have that
Yeah.
body movement. And
Motion
that
is
reason
motion.
is one of the nuggets that I want to mention real quickly is it's the oxygen to breathe. Um,
Ooh.
the oxygen is really God's breathing into us. And that's why
Ooh.
it's important for us to move. And when God breathed into us, again, that oxygen, which is the God's life,
The
the
breath
life,
of God. Yeah, the breath of
yes,
life. Yes.
yes. And so it's breathing into us the breath of life, and it goes through our veins, throughout our whole body, from the top of our head to the bottom of our feet, from one tip of our finger to the next. And so God is breathing that fresh air into us, his life, his being, which will heal us to do what we need to do for our bodies. And so that's one of the theological pieces. So
Ooh.
it's so important to move, get up and move. It
Yeah.
is so refreshing and healing for the body. And so that's why exercising is so important.
Man, I tell you what, man, that was rich what you just said right there. I'm just like, you know what? You need to take that. We need to stop church as normal and just bring Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins around and let her give some spiritual, theological, because
Yeah.
God breathed the breath of life into man and man became a living soul.
Yes.
And,
And that
and
is
guess what? He's continuing that breath.
absolutely
Huh?
fresh oxygen into our bodies, but we got to move to
Yeah,
get it.
man.
Yes,
I love it.
absolutely.
I love it.
And so
So,
I go to churches sharing about those 4 elements of why it's important for us because really they are the longevity. They are the promises of life.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's
Mhm.
powerful. So, Dr. Willie, one day, Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins, let me get the whole name right. Could you imagine me and you on the stage together?
Uh, I think we'll have a ball if we're on the stage together.
I could see that, man. And I'm working really hard in my endeavors to connect with as many people as I can in this mission of impacting lives. And we make no apologies on this platform here. This is not a church show, but
Mhm.
we make absolutely no apologies for exercising our faith. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
And so
Yes.
when people come on here, they're in the pre-show with me and they'll be like, well, can I say I love the Lord or something like that? I'm like, girl, sister, on this show, as long as I'm the head honcho, you can talk about the Lord all day long. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins, and she is a friend of Impact Life 24/7. So let me ask you this, doctor, as we close. Are you gonna come back on the show?
I would love to. I would love to.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Okay. Um, do you think it's a good environment? I mean, do you
I
like
really
coming on?
do. I do. I really
Okay.
do.
Well, that's important.
And you have that passion also to serve and making sure there's messages out there for others in the world to say, hey, here are some resources for you, which
Yes.
is awesome thing to do. So yes,
Hey,
absolutely.
listen, we call this the Cathedral of Resources, and Danny is the Pope of the Cathedral. I love that man so much, man. Anyway, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you can connect with our friend and guest and host. I mean, I'm the host, but she's the guest. Shebuildsavineyard.com. If you would like to get a copy of her book, hold that book up again real quick, sister. We got to see it. Keep it in your hand.
I have this one.
Uh huh.
Into
Building a
that one.
vineyard. What's the
I
other one?
have this one.
She builds a vineyard. Look at that. I can't
Yes.
keep up. I can't keep up with that many
And
books.
and I also have this one for the single parent family.
Ah, yes, I
Yeah.
love it. What's that title?
Build how to establish spiritual transformation in a single parent home.
Ooh, that's
That's
beautiful.
my son when he was a little baby. So this
Way
is him
up there,
now.
huh?
Yeah, I tell
Uh,
you, you never know what God would do with your work,
yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go to your website and get me a copy. I want
Okay.
I want it signed, okay?
Okay.
All right.
And I'll
So,
make sure I get your copy now that you've really been pushing it and it's
oh heck
out
yeah, yeah.
now.
Look, I feel like a Kirby vacuum cleaner salesman. Because all I'm talking about is, hey, get the book, yo. But
I look forward to reading it.
as everybody knows, for the past 24, 26 months on this platform, we have done nothing but elevate other people. That's all we've done. And I believe that my harvest for what my mission is coming is because I've planted seeds in other people. You know what I'm saying?
Amen. Yes.
Dr.
Yes.
Willie, let's plan on getting back together first of the year, and we'll talk more about single parenthood and maybe give some strategies bringing you back. Are you a part of my Leadership Institute?
I think I am.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm going to invite you. Okay, you're going to get an invite to our Leadership Institute, the CL King Leadership Institute. And it's a small group of leaders that all we do, we don't go there to debate. We don't talk politics. We just share leadership.
Okay.
And
I am a part of your Facebook group. Is that the same thing? Or is that something
I
different?
don't know, man. I'm going to go make sure that you are in my Leadership Institute.
Okay. Okay.
So Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins from the North Carolina western part, what I want you to do is I want you to take the last 45 seconds and give a word of encouragement to our folks. Go ahead, doctor.
Okay. Again, I would like to just invite if for women out there, even with their teenage girls, if you need support, we are here to support you. We are here to support you, whatever issues you may have. We're here. We provide therapeutic services with coaching and counseling, and with self-care strategies, rest, meditation, diet, and exercise. Now, if you need a self-care plan, we can assist you with that as well. So please let us know how we can help you.
All right, so you heard that from the chief great lady herself, Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins. I'm so blessed to have you. I owe Danny a lifetime of gratitude for connecting us together. And y'all was in college together years ago. And
yes.
I just give Danny a hard time now, man. I demand so much of him and he just laughs at me. So a great human being. And an even greater human being that we have now. We love you. We appreciate our connection. And we look forward to having you back on again real soon. Okay,
Thank
doctor?
Thank you. Thank you. I look forward to it.
All right. Well, we'll see you again real soon. So that was Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins, ladies and gentlemen, on Impacting Life 24/7. And what I want to tell you is that people like that are on this show every week. Monday night, Tuesday night, and Thursday night. Someone who has a key awareness of the struggle and the successes that a single parent has. You need to go listen to them. You need to connect with them. And it's not every day. You can't turn on Fox. You can't turn on MSNBC. You can't turn on CNN where you'll get these types of resources available to you just by listening. But here at Impactville, this is a cathedral of resources. So thank you. I don't know where Greg was tonight. I was flying solo. I did see Mike B come in the room, but hey man, listen, this is what this was built around. This is built around, hey, listen, it will continue no matter what. I love you guys. Go check her out. She builds a vineyard.com, Dr. Willie Mae Hawkins.com, our friend and our comrade. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you tomorrow night where we'll have the great Gunny, my friend, Gunnery Sergeant, William Augenbright right here in the virtual studios. We'll talk to you then. Take care.